Assalamualaikum, cubaan suara. Ibu Warsiti, boleh dengar ke? Jelas Ibu?
Iya Ibu, iya Prof, jelas Prof.
Ya, jelas ya. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Apa kabar Ibu? Sehat ke?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Bagaimana keadaan di Yogyakarta sekarang dengan isu COVID-nya? Bagaimana, sudah menurun ke ataupun masih lagi tinggi?
Masih tinggi Prof.
Masih tinggi ya. Begitu
kayaknya
ya.
Kita masih belum belum tahu ini fixnya di mana, karena angkanya masih naik turun tapi cenderung di atas turunnya.
Oh ya. Indonesia pun begitu juga. Indonesia pun begitu, Sabah masih lagi tinggi, dan di Kuala Lumpur termasuk di Selangor masih lagi tinggi kesnya.
Ya.
Ya, jadi kita masih lagi tidak boleh bekerja di pejabat di kantor, masih bekerja daripada rumah saja.
Iya, sama Pak.
Tapi di Perak ini boleh bekerja di pejabat. Di UiTM ni boleh bekerja di pejabat. Tinggal lagi yang di beberapa negeri tadi itu di Malaysia tidak boleh bekerja lagi lah di pejabat.
Iya.
Ya.
Kami di Jogja ini masih diperpanjang untuk masa masa pandeminya sampai, jadi gubernur atau ratunya Jogja ini masih memperpanjang masa darurat ini sampai akhir November ini. Jadi setiap bulan diperpanjang begitu, Prof.
Oh ya.
Iya.
Jadi pergerakan di Indonesia juga terhad ya Ibu ya, dari wilayah ke wilayah.
Ya, hampir semuanya sekarang sudah sama Prof, kondisinya Prof.
Oh ya.
Kami juga masih studinya masih dari rumah juga ini.
Masih dari rumah kita. Oh.
Iya. Hanya beberapa student untuk praktikum, rencana nanti Desember kita akan mulai untuk laboratorium, tapi hanya beberapa tingkatan aja, tingkat akhir.
Ya. Tahun akhir ya, tingkat akhir ya, diberi peluang kembali ke universiti.
Iya. Saya terima kasih sekali ini diberikan kesempatan bisa kerjasama dengan UiTM.
Ya. Kita ingin sekali bertemu dengan Ibu di Yogyakarta, insya-Allah kalau COVID-19 pulih nanti.
Ya, Pak ya.
Kesempatan kita nak mengunjungi Ibu di Yogyakarta dan Ibu juga ke Perak, Malaysia Ibu untuk datang melawat universiti kami di sini.
Ya Prof ya, apa kami yang tidak stabil?
Ya. Dijemput juga Ibu untuk datang ke Malaysia kalau COVID-nya sudah berkurangan nanti, untuk ke Perak, ke universiti kami di sini sedia menerima Ibu, kunjungan delegasi dari Ibu. Kita harapkan supaya kita dapat teruskan kerjasama ini.
Terima kasih Prof. Muhammadiyah itu juga sedang menginisiasi untuk mendirikan perguruan tinggi Muhammadiyah di Malaysia, Prof. Ya.
Baik.
Ya.
Di Indonesia Ibu, studentnya ada diberi bantuan untuk pelan data kalau belajar secara online dari rumah ini, ada bantuan diberikan oleh kerajaan ataupun pihak universitas?
Iya. Kami beri. Ya, Prof.
Ada diberi bantuan kewangan untuk pelan data? Ya.
Ya, beli data. Ya. Kami beri mereka bantuan subsidi untuk beli kuota internet.
Oh ya. Sama
tetapi
di Malaysia.
Sebenarnya ya dari kementerian, dari Ministry of Higher Education itu sudah memberi data internet untuk mahasiswa dari mulai student elementary, dari mulai SD, SMP, SMA sampai perguruan tinggi.
Wow, baik sekali.
Ya.
Kita menggunakan konsep Open University, Universiti Terbuka Indonesia menggunakan konsep Open University. Maknanya secara online ataupun secara atas talian saja pengajaran dan pembelajarannya.
Iya. Prof, di UiTM berapa fakultas, Prof?
Di Perak kita ada 5 fakultas, Bu. Di UiTM Perak. Tapi di keseluruhan sistem UiTM kita ada 20 fakultasnya.
Oh, 20 fakultas. Fakultas health science-nya di mana, Prof? Di Perak atau di mana?
Di Tapah, Ibu. Di Perak juga ada. Tapi kampusnya kampus di Tapah. Yang kita berada ini di kampus Sri Iskandar. Jadi dalam satu negeri itu ada 2 kampus.
Oh.
Ibu dalam 1 jam kurang perjalanannya.
Berapa lama?
1 jam, Ibu.
1 jam ya. Jauh juga itu, Prof, berarti ya. Beda wilayah, beda daerah itu, Prof ya. Beda provinsi atau beda
dalam negeri yang sama.
Distrik itu, Prof.
Distrik berbeza, daerah berbeza.
Oh, ya.
Satu di Perak Tengah, satu di daerah Batam Padang, ataupun kita panggil dia Tapah lah.
Ya.
Kalau yang applied science itu fakultasnya di situ Ibu.
Gimana Prof?
Applied science ataupun sains gunaan.
Oh, ya health science.
Ya.
Today webinar. Today program is part of the international collaboration on academic activity between the Department of Town and Regional Planning, University Technology Mara, UiTM Perak branch, and Architecture Study Program, Asia University, UNISA, Yogyakarta, Indonesia. This webinar program entitled Planner and Architect Sustainable Development and Social Wellbeing. The chosen theme stems from the acknowledgement that both planner and architect play a crucial role, significant and fundamental in managing and governing the environment, albeit operating on the same concept of sustainable development. However, orientation, focus, and scale are being viewed differently by both planner and architect. Again, the background: this webinar is designed to explore, dismantle, and operationalize the sustainable development concept from the view of planner and architect, which the ultimate objective is to elevate the social well-being and habitat. For vivid information, prior to today, which was program, there were workshop and talk given by both lecturer and student from the Department of Town and Regional Planning, UiTM Perak, during the academic visit at UNISA in 17 to 22nd of June 2019. There were also a webinar talk from both universities and university students on 14, 20, and 21st and 28 September 2020. To kick off our today program, I would like to call upon Yang Berbahagia Professor Surveyor Dr. Mat Yusof Hamid, UiTM Perak Branch Rector, to give an opening speech and to officiate the program. Over to you, Prof.
Right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning to all presenters and participants. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to UiTM UNISA International Collaboration Virtual Program Webinar Series. I'm very honored to welcome Ibu Warsiti, Rector of UNISA, Ibu Hafsari Wang Yunishih, Dekan Fakultas Sains Teknologi UNISA, Profesor Dr. Abdullah Muhammad Said, Associate Professor Town Planner GS Dr. Hamid Zainul, and Associate Professor Town Planner Dr. Ahmad Faisal alias as today presenter. This webinar is one of the three programs as mentioned by our moderator this morning, planned under the International Collaboration Memorandum of Understanding between UiTM Perak and UNISA Yogyakarta, and all three will be conducted online due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So the first program, which was the webinar on selected project by the final year degree student, had started from the 7th to 28th of September 2020. And then I've been informed today is the beginning of the second program, the lecturers webinar, which will involve 6 lecture series from both universities. Congratulations for this initiative. So the third and final program is the online student exchange, where the 4th semester student from UNISA Architecture program will enroll and undertake between 6 to 10 credits of non-exam courses per semesters at UiTM Perak. The main intention of this webinar series is to broaden the collaboration horizon between UiTM Perak and other international universities. So therefore, the programs and events conducted will further expose both parties to the current and futures of town planning and architecture field. These collaboration teams, planners and architects, sustainable development and social well-being will revolve around new approach in the town planning and architecture fields in dealing with the current situation and future needs of the community. So this is in line with UiTM vision as a premier universities of outstanding academic excellence capable of producing globally competitive graduates of sound ethical standing. It is also the objective of both universities to ensure our graduates are adequately prepared to join the local as well as global workforce, and also to establish both universities as a center of excellence that is accountable for the effective and efficient management of human resources while playing its roles as catalysts in community development. Before coming to a closing remarks, I would like to thank all who are involved in successfully organizing this program. My special thanks and appreciation to Dr. Noraina Abdul Rahman, the Program Coordinator for the Department of Town and Regional Planning, UiTM Perak, and all the committee members for their dedication, time and efforts in making sure that this program runs smoothly. I hope you will enjoy today's presentations. And then again, I would like to thanks to Ibu Hafsari and then Ibu Warsiti, Rector of UNISA, for making or for having a time with us today, this morning. So I hope that we will enjoy this presentation, and then thank you all for your presence and participation. With the solemn words, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I hereby officiate this UiTM UNISA International Collaboration Virtual Program. Thank you very much.
Thank you Yang Berbahagia Profesor Surveyor Dr. Maisur Ahmed, Rector of UiTM Perak Branch, for the visionary and excellent speech. As co-host for this international collaboration program, I would like to invite Yang Berbahagia Ibu Warsiti, UNISA Rector, to give an acknowledgement speech. The floor is yours.
Okay. Halo. Halo. Halo, Assalamualaikum Bapak Dr. Hisam. Jelas?
Ya, jelas.
Suara saya jelas? Oke.
Jelas.
Assalamualaikum. Baik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Alhamdulillahilladzi arsala rasulahu bil huda wa dinil haq liyudhhirahu ala dini kullih wa kafa billahi syahida. Asyhadu alla ilaha illallah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Amma ba'du. Yang kami hormati Profesor Surveyor Dr. Yusuf Hamid as Rector of UiTM Perak Malaysia. Yang kami hormati Ibu Dr. Noraina as the Coordinator of the UiTM and UNISA Collaboration from the Department of Town and Regional Planning. All invited speaker today, Ibu Hafsari Wahyuningsih, MSc, as Dean of the Faculty of Science and Technology Universitas Aisyah Yogyakarta, Ibu Aprodita Emma, MSc, as the head of the Architecture Study Program Universitas Yogyakarta. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let us praise and thank the presence of Allah Almighty for the abundance of grace and the joy of love. You us can still gather via online without any barriers at all and in good health. Not forgetting the solawat and greeting we pour out to the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who has brought us out of the dark age to the era of bright light today, namely Islam. May we will get education on the end. Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. Ladies and gentlemen, the virtual program held in collaboration between the Town and Regional Planning Department UiTM Perak branch with the Architecture Study Program Faculty of Science and Technology Unisa Yogyakarta, certainly it will bring benefit to both parties, one of which is lecturer recognized. Lecturer recognized, which is a requirement for assessment of study program accreditation and institution accreditation in Indonesia. The benefit of this program is sharing knowledge according to scientific group to always update science according to scientific development trend, especially in the field of science and technology. This we can provide useful knowledge to our students and benefit society. We hope the collaboration between UiTM and Unisa Yogyakarta will be stronger and wider in the form of the activities, and of course, it will benefit both institution, lecturer, and student, of course. Finally, we would like to thank UiTM, especially from Professor Yusuf Hamid, and especially the Town and Regional Planning Department, UiTM Perak branch, for holding an event today along with the Architecture Study Program Faculty of Science and Technology Unisa Yogyakarta. That's all for me. Thank you so much for joining for this morning. I would like to apologize if there is mistake. And I'm so sorry, Professor Yusuf Hamid. I couldn't join the seminar until finish. I should leave this meeting early because today I have accreditation agenda from Ministry of Health, Ministry of Higher Education. I hope you have a nice day. Keep spirit, stay healthy, and good luck for us. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Best of luck, Ibu Warsiti and Unisa. Ya.
Terima kasih, Prof.
Sama-sama.
Thank you yang berbahagia Ibu Warsiti, Unisa Rector, for the informative speech. Before we fully diverting our attention on the substance of this seminar, let us watch the montage that has been prepared for this program. Enjoy.
Terima kasih kepada saudara Syamini.
Hello everyone. The design is instrument is
a really amazing montage. Now we come to the main activity of today's program. Before we start the session, I would like to outline the today presentation format. We have 4 keynote speakers, 3 from UiTM Perak and 1 from UNISA. After the 3 presentation from UiTM Perak, a speaker from UNISA followed. Each presenter is allocated a maximum of 15 minutes only. To speaker, after the 10-minute presentation, you will be given a notice indicating that you only have 5 minutes left. For those who want to post question, please do so like through our platform. However, please take note that a question post shall be delivered to speaker attention only at the end of the session, which is after all the speakers have delivered their presentation. To all presenters, please strictly observe the time given. To the audience, please switch off your microphone. So our first topic today entitled From Land Use Planning to Building Construction, the application of sustainability principle in developing and managing the built environment towards social well-being. This topic will be delivered by Yang Berbahagia Professor Datuk Dr. Abdullah Muhammad Said. I will provide a brief academic bibliography of the presenter. He has been serving UiTM since 1983. Prof. Datuk Dr. Abdullah received a PhD in environmental planning from University of Wales, Aberdeen, United Kingdom in 1998. He has been among the leading scholars in environmental and social impact assessment, EIA and SIA study in Malaysia. He has published many books in environmental impact assessment. Well, that's a brief information about our first speaker. Without further ado, I would like to call upon our first presenter, Prof. Dr. Abdullah. The floor is yours, Prof.
All right, thank you very much. What I'm trying to do here is that I'm going to talk about the application of the sustainability principles in the built environment and looking at it from the macro perspective, that is town planning, up to the detailed management and also development in built environment, there is building construction. And the purpose of the application of these principles is to make sure that development in the built environment give the best in terms of social well-being. I'm sure that this topic suits to the theme of the seminar, that is planners and architects, sustainable development and social well-being. Right, ladies and gentlemen, here is the list of content of my presentation. I will start with sustainable environment, and then I'll move to the meaning and the professionals involved in the built environment. And also I will talk very briefly in what is meant by social well-being and how the sustainability principles are applied in developing and managing the built environment, and finally a very brief and short summary and conclusion. So let's start with sustainable environment. Sustainable environment has been defined differently. However, the mostly referred definition is meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their needs. That's the most common definition of sustainable, or rather sustainability. And as we all know that the first international conference on the environment was held in 1972 in Stockholm. And following that, in 1983, United Nations established a commission, right, on the environment and development. And this commission finally produced a report. And then following that, they held a conference in Rio de Janeiro in 1992. And the concept introduced in the report, that is sustainable development and sustainable environment, became the focus of the conference. And following that, there were a lot of development, but the most recent one is where the United Nations introduced the SDG, or Sustainable Development Goal, that become the reference and the basis and the principles of all development. And however, before the concept sustainability became the focus, the two important concepts in managing the environment were preservation and conservation. I don't think I need to give further elaborations on these two concepts, but very briefly, preservation means that we don't touch the environment, we don't develop the natural resources, and they are left to be conserved. And the other one is, of course, conservation, meaning that the environment and the natural resources are developed, but with proper and effective management in order to make sure that the resources will sustain to be used by people in the future, or rather used by the future generation. And then the concept of resilience actually rooted from ecology, right? And but later, this concept resilience became applied, or rather was applied in other fields, particularly in the context of development and managing the environment, due to the current development all over the world, whereby environmental problems became more serious, and natural resources were or are depleting. And we see that change of the environmental quality is no longer happening slowly, it happens very fast, and then it's no longer gradual, and we see that future is almost unpredictable nowadays. We have so many kind of serious environmental problems which we never predict. And change are non-linear, changes are unforeseen, and so on. So changes are also uncontrollable, making resilience became more important concept that has to be considered by people, by everybody, by all professions that are involved in development and also in managing the environment, particularly in the context of built environment. And thus, what happens now, if we tour through the literature, we will see that some literature, some authors propose that the concept of sustainability is part of resilience. And there are also another school of thought that resilience is part of sustainability, and there is also another school of thought that resilience and sustainability operate separately but having the same objective. In this presentation, I look at sustainability that covers the concept of preservation, conservation, and resilience. That is the concept that I bring forward in this presentation. And okay, after a very brief introduction on sustainability, what is meant by social well-being? That is one of the key concepts in this conference or in this seminar. Social well-being has been defined differently by different authors, but however, if we go through the literature, we will find that social well-being, there are authors who divide social well-being into 3 main components. There are also authors that divide them into 2 main components. But for the purpose of this presentation, I choose 2. One is personal well-being, that is the physical, emotional, and social well-being of a person. And the other one is social well-being. And I've listed some of the elements of social well-being that, if we look at it closely, reflect what is meant by the concept social well-being. However, if we go through the report by WWF, this report, One Planet Living, Monitoring Quality of Life, listed some of the scope or some of the concern of social well-being, but in the context of environment in general. However, I use all this in the context of built environment. So these are the concept and the keywords, that reflect the meaning or the concept of social well-being: beauty, meaning, escape, social ties, mental health, physical health, economic, playing, the sport, learning, crime, and many others like poverty, hunger, health, education, gender equality, clean water, sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work, economic growth, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. And there are many others that you all can see in the slides. So what I'm trying to say here is that if we refer back to the theme of the conference, we want to create such a way that development that give benefits in terms of social well-being. So all those elements that I have listed in the 3 slides should be the concern, or rather reflect what is meant by social well-being that we want to achieve as reflected in the theme of the conference or seminar. So now I go to the next heading of my presentation, that is the built environment. What is meant by built environment? We can find a lot of definitions very easily, but the last one is that states that built environment encompasses all forms of building, housing, industrial, commercial, hospital, schools, etc., and civil engineering infrastructure, both above and below ground, and includes the managed landscape between and around building. The construction industry. This definition is given by the CIC UK. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that this definition can give some reflection on what is meant by built environment that become the focus of my discussion this morning. We have other definitions as well, but I think this one is suffice, is good enough. And what are the professions? Who are the professionals involved in building and also managing the built environment? Although the 2 main parties involved in this conference are town planners and architects. But however, there are other professionals involved as well. Those from the land use or town planning, architecture, landscape architecture, interior design, estate management, quantity surveying, building science, building surveying, construction technology, construction management, construction project management, facilities management, urban development and management, urban space design, and so on, and until property investment and geometric information system. What I'm trying to say here is that the application of sustainability principles must be applied by all these professionals in doing their work or performing their tasks in developing and managing the environment. And at the same time, all those, these are the key areas that should consider. One, I'm looking at it from the professional angle, and the other one is a discipline, academic discipline, and also professional practice. Those are the key areas of professional practice that are involved in managing and developing the built environment, and all these people must incorporate and must consider all the sustainability principles when they do their work, when they perform their task. So I'm giving examples on how the sustainability principles can be and have been considered by all these professionals, either as an academic discipline or also as practitioners. Okay. Among the concepts that we have are garden city, new town, neighborhood unit, eco city, sustainable urbanism, green township, green neighborhood. Okay, all these concepts are now being taught and being practiced. And besides that, we have new urbanism, and not to forget smart city, transit-oriented development, TOD, walkable city, and so on, low carbon city, smart growth, green transportation, green highway. All these, are actually in the field of town planning, and also in other fields that I've shown here. And not to forget that other concepts and also has been practiced, design with nature, ecological, eco-friendly design, environmental friendly design, sustainable architecture, green design, tropical design, and then these are all, believed and practiced by the architects and also other designers, including the landscape architects and probably the interior designer. And other concepts are sustainable building, green construction, green technology, lean construction, sustainable procurement, green consumerism, and green procurement. So what I'm trying to say here, students who are studying in these areas and also universities that offer programs in this area should include principles of sustainability in their curriculum and syllabus. And at the same time, those who are involved in managing and developing the built environment that comes under these areas, which I've shown just now, right? Yeah, must consider, must incorporate all these sustainability principles, which to me, which I've explained much earlier. And then another current trend that we are see developing now are the use of rating tools. For example, in Malaysia, I list 9 rating tools which are applicable both for township infrastructure and also building. And we find that this is very helpful. So what I'm trying to show you here that as a summary and conclusion, in the area of built environment, at the macro level is the land use planning. And then following that, we have so many other urban development activities and also professionals involved, the architect, the landscape architect, the QS, and builders and estate managers, you know, they must consider, they must include the sustainability design principles or sustainability principles in their work. So some of them I've shown here, which are reflected in all these concepts that I've shown you, this slide and this slide, and finally at the most detailed level, there is at building construction, we have rating tools that can be used, and also other design principles that can help towards achieving environmental friendly development in the built environment, in the built environment, towards achieving social well-being. So Dr. Hisham, thank you very much. That's the end of my presentation, and we will come back during the Q&A later. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor, for sharing your insights. I would like to remind the audience who want to pose a question, please do so. The speaker will address the question after all the delivered their presentation. In your question, please state your name and from which department or country you are. To conserve time, please be short, sweet, and concise. Well, now we come to the second topic, which will be delivered by Associate Professor, Registered Town Planner, Dr. Ahmad Masa. This topic titled Environmental Awareness Level of Hubungi Diploma in Town and Regional Planning Student UiTM Perak. A quick video about Dr. Ahmad Faisal. He has been serving UiTM Perak since 1989. He obtained a PhD from the University of Malaysia in Environmental Management in 2008 and has published books and articles on planning. Dr. Masa has a high passion for legislating environmental planning and sustainable development study, among others. Without further ado, over to you, Dr.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome to my colleague. Thank you, Mr. Moderator, my colleague, Dr. Hisham, and welcome to my colleague from UiTM and from Indonesia, and also from my fellow participants. I'd like to put up my slides. Okay. This morning, I'm going to present a short study which I did about 2 years ago among my students, which titled Environmental Awareness of New Student in Diploma in Town Engineering Planning in ISNIN Perak. Okay. My study will focus onto the new student. For my introduction, as future sustainable town and urban planners, students should possess high environmental awareness and knowledge, as well as positive and better environmental attitude toward the environment. Because as planners, we will, by hook or by crook, will deal with the environment. Before this, many studies have revealed that lack of environmental awareness and knowledge will cause humans to behave negatively towards the environment. And according to a Curie, environmental awareness and knowledge can be positively correlated to environmental behavior. The more they are knowledgeable and they are aware about the environment, their practices will be more pro-environmental attitude. And according to Chapman and Sharma, also many researchers concluded that environmentally sustainable behavior can be directly or indirectly influenced by attitude. And the United Nations Conference on Environment and Development in 1991 concluded that there are urgent necessities to increase global environment awareness through education and training in the future. Okay, the aim of my small study is to measure the level of environmental awareness and knowledge of new diploma in town regional planning students at our university here. Okay. Among the objectives that I outline in here is to evaluate their level of environmental awareness and knowledge, and to establish their sources of environmental knowledge, and to analyze the correlation between their knowledge and awareness based on the Dunlap's new ecological paradigm. Okay, first of all, I would like to give a brief explanation on the environmental education in Malaysia. Environmental education is very essential to construct a knowledge and awareness of the society, especially during the youth socialization process, in which will develop their behavioral and practice in the future. In Malaysia, formally, environmental education began with the introduction of the subject man and environment under the curriculum bersepadu sekolah rendah, the KBSR, and the curriculum bersepadu sekolah menengah, through science subjects such as biology and other subjects such as geography and such. And then by 1992, the subject man environment was replaced by kajian tempatan or local study. Okay. And in 1996, however, the content of Malaysian education, environmental education was revamped dramatically. Specific subjects on the environment was abolished, and environmental content was integrated into other subtopics such as primary school and elementary school, such as geography, civic, and such. And beginning in 2000, it's up to the tertiary institutions to begin offering courses and programs at pre-degree, undergraduate, and graduate level, such as at UPN, at UTM, UiTM, USM, and such. Okay. Several studies, for example, ISNIN et al. In 2003 and 2007 discovered that environmental knowledge in Malaysia is painted in a gloomy and not so encouraging practical picture. Although there are increases in awareness in school children, there are still gaps between their knowledge and their behavior. Only incremental effective positive change can be observed, for example, in recycling and volunteerism endeavors. And Sharifah et al. Also indicated that the education level is significantly and positively correlated with the awareness level. So, and discovered that among Malaysian youth, they have moderate environmental awareness despite their high environmental knowledge. Okay. And main source of information on the environment is from the TV, from newspaper, and from radio. Okay, the current study, okay, the methodology that I use is a self-administered survey form. It is divided into 4 main parts to measure a specific item. And the respondents are new students from the 2018 and 2019 intakes. They are SPM holders, aged between 17 to 90 years old. Actually, there were 225 questionnaires that were distributed to the students, and only 188 were acceptable to be evaluated. The rest was considered outliers. Okay, the result shows that 64% of the respondents are from the urban schools. Okay. However, there are no significant differences between environmental awareness between rural and urban school respondents. The respondents are also divided into 2 streams of studies. which is humanity and pure science and humanity. And the t-test on them also didn't have any significant differences between them on their environmental awareness level. Okay. Gender also didn't have any bearing on environmental awareness. Okay. Okay. On the level of their self-proclaimed environmental awareness, the mean awareness scale for the student is 3.28 based on a 5-point scale, which is considered moderately high. And their main source of information on environment is from the TV, 54.8%. 14.4% from newspapers and 8% from the radio. Well, only 4.8% of respondents considered school is their main source of environmental knowledge. Okay, this is the environmental knowledge scale which I adapt from the ISNIN study in 2003. They possess moderately high general environmental knowledge, and the mean correct score is 79.8, and the mean score is 2.96 based on a 4-point Likert-like scale. And there are 4-point Likert-like that is strongly disagree, agree, and strongly agree. Okay, next is their environmental awareness scale based on the Dunlap New Ecological Paradigm Scale. This scale is to measure their respondent environmental worldviews, whether they are pro or anti-environment. And this is on a 5-point Likert style that scale. And the results show the environmental scale is moderately pro-environment. This is 3.37 based on a 5-point scale. Okay? And then in this result, it's trying to find the correlation between the item we studied above. Okay. First of all, there is a significant correlation between respondent basic environmental knowledge and their environmental awareness scale, which means the more their knowledge, the higher their awareness scale. But it doesn't have any bearing on their environmental behavior. However, there are no significant correlation between the self-proclaimed awareness and their environmental awareness scale, which means some only claim they are aware, but otherwise they are not. Okay, the main findings of the study is that there is no significant correlation between school type, stream of studies, or gender to environmental knowledge. Self-proclaimed environmental awareness is moderately high, at 3.28, and TV is their main source of environmental knowledge, which accounts for 54.8%. And surprisingly, very low respondents consider school as their source of environmental knowledge. Respondent basic environmental knowledge of new students is also moderately high, and also moderately high on the new ecological paradigm, denoting that the respondent is having a moderate pro-environmental worldview. And most importantly, respondent environmental knowledge is positively correlated to the environmental scale. And from this study, the conclusion that I can draw from the simplified data above is environmental education in school is ineffective to produce future environmental citizens. Therefore, it is become the responsibility of tertiary education institution to ensure that students' awareness of sustainability to increase and to become a more environmental citizen. Okay, and that I conclude my presentation for this morning, and I thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahmad Faisal Alias, for the wonderful presentation. Our third speaker is Associate Professor, Registered Town Planner, Dr. Helmi Zainal. He will be delivering a topic entitled Malaysian Rewriting Tool for Green Township and Assessment Criteria. Dr. Helmi has been serving UiTM Perak since 1989. He has published many books and journals regarding green technology, socio-cultural planning, and project management. Well, that's a brief information about Dr. Helmi. Without further ado, the floor is yours, Doctor.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Hisham. So I would like to share my presentation. Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Moderator, Dr. Hisham Saman, for the introduction. And Assalamualaikum to all of you. I'm the last speaker, and maybe some of you is sleepy, but it's okay. Just listen to whatever that I have to give you today. And I would like to thank to Ibu Wasiti, Rector of UNISA, Ibu Apsari, Ibu Eprodita, for collaborating with UiTM Perak. We really appreciate it so much. I have about 40 slides, or maybe a bit more, but I try to make it fast, okay? I try to make it fast. So, in my slide, I just to show you about the university's mission, and what the importance in the slide is that, can we see the small dot here? Okay, this is UNISA, our friend in Indonesia. And this is Malaysia, this is UiTM Perak. So we can picture the distance between UNISA and UiTM Perak. Okay, this is my presentation today about Malaysian Green Rating Tool for Green Township and Assessment Criteria. And I will cover on environment aspect, economy, social, green consciousness, and so on, and so on. Never mind, I just make it very fast. Okay. This is a few definition of green building and sustainable. I choose this topic because our partner over there is the architecture, right? So maybe this sharing session will benefit some to our partner over there in Indonesia. Okay, so this is the definition of green building to make it last longer, more efficient and costless. And very important is that to contribute healthier living working environment. Okay, that is the main thing about green building. Okay, this is the definition from United Nations. UN stands for United Nations, defines what is sustainable development is all about, meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own needs, viewing 2009. So you can see the elements that have been considered in sustainable development, such as urban sustainability, sustainable construction, and so on and so forth. Okay, this is 3 pillars. As we can see from the slide, there are 3 main pillars in sustainability. So when we talk about sustainability, so we must include the element of social. The other one is economy and environment. And some researchers found that maybe in environment there are a few more sub-headers under that, but these are the main pillars of the sustainability. Okay, so what is environment is all about climate change and so on. Economy, the important is that to reduce the carbon emission and so on. And social, in terms of equity, social inclusion and interaction, security and adaptability. Okay, we go to the next one. What is a green building is all about? So whatever we do, we must focus on increasing the efficiency of resources in terms of energy, water and materials. And not to forget in reducing building impact on human health. That is the most important things. And whatever we do, the green buildings must be able to operate and to reduce the overall impact of the built environment surrounding. Okay, some issues in development. And the architect should know that the building you design is normally lasts for 50 to 100 years. That is the research done by previous studies. But so make sure that whatever that you do, not only the architects, the developer or the planners, and you must bear in mind that it will last forever. So it will impact to the surrounding, to the community, to the area that we plan or we develop. Okay. Okay, we go to the next one. Okay. If you need these slides, I think we can share with you later, and I'll give it to the organizer to send it to our friends over there in UNISA. Okay. Okay, develop to assist who? To assist town planners, architects, designers, builders, and so forth. Okay, about the development of Green Rating Tool, just to let you know that it was started in 1990 from UK. BREEAM is the Green Rating Tools invented by UK, and LEED from US, and so forth. And we are in Malaysia, we have GBI, Green Building Index, PHJKR, and so on. Okay, Green RE, and so on. Okay, some of the assessments, for examples, that to let you know, there are more than hundreds of assessment tools for sustainability. For example, in UK, US, Canada, and also in Indonesia, you have the green assessment tools in it. Okay. Okay, these are some examples of the main rating tools in the world. And BREEAM, everybody is talk about BREEAM rating tools, LEED, Green Star. So there are the most established rating tools that have nowadays. Some of the rating tools that throughout the world, you can see that. Okay, here are the rating tools in Malaysia. So we have 4 rating tools actually, just to share with you in our friends over there. And we have Green RE from different association, which is Green Real Estate, and Green Pass from CIDB, Construction Industry Development Board, Green Performance Assessment System in 2012, PHJKR. PHJKR is in Malaysia is called Penerapan Hijau. Skim Penilaian Penerapan Hijau JKR 2012, and GBI, Green Building Index, by architect. So the most established rating tool in Malaysia is GBI, and I will explain a bit on GBI. And the township assessment tools is also fall under GBI, and we go to that soon. Okay, my CRES and my Green Highway and so on. Okay, these are amongst the elements that we considered in the rating tools, for example, establishment, develop, and so on. And what I would like to tell you here is about the rating system. There are different rating systems, and sometimes you achieve in that particular point, you'll get that award, for example, platinum, so on. For example, we go to Green RE, the maximum points is 100 points, 150 points. Whereas in Green Pass, they are based on carbon neutral exposed. Okay, if you reduce 100% carbon dioxide, you'll get 6 diamonds. So, and PhD is 100%, and you get 5 stars, and GBI also the maximum points is 100. The highest is platinum award, gold, silver, and certified. You see, 3 association, but it's not compulsory. If you are going to develop a green building and you want to get recognition, you can choose whatever rating tools that you like to take. Okay. About green building index, that one of the established rating tools in Malaysia, and the area of assessment falls in 6 categories. Number 1 is energy efficiency, indoor environmental quality, sustainable site management, material resources, water efficiency, and lastly is the innovation. We go a bit on that. So these are the elements that been considered in energy efficiency, about the building orientation, minimizing solar heat, harvesting natural lighting, and so on. Renewable energy, okay? And indoor environment quality, the air quality in indoor of the building, acoustic, visual, thermal comfort, and so on. Sustainable site and planning, okay? Access to public transportation, community services, okay? What about the stormwater management, and so on? Material and resources, as you can see in the slides, and water efficiency, rainwater harvesting. You collect the water from the rain, and you keep it and store it and use it maybe for planting and so on, not for drinking, unless you treat it. Water recycling and water saving fittings. Innovation, whatever that you do to reduce the green, to increase the green about the building and so on, that is called innovation. The categories of assessment tools, residential, non-residential, and industrial fall under building, about building assessment, and township is another assessment. We go that later. Okay, about green township assessment in Malaysia. Okay, why very important about green township assessment? Because we are dealing with the community in our daily life. Okay, so we need that assessment just to make sure that the facilities, the services that given to the community is the best so far, and we need to develop livable places that meet the diverse needs for community for now and the future. Okay. Whatever we do, there must be balance. As you can see from the bottom here, balance between environmental, social, and economy. These are 3 pillars, the main 3 pillars in sustainable. Okay, about sustainable township rating tools in Malaysia. Okay, I think I don't need to go further for East point and so on. Okay, why we need these setting tools? Benchmark. The important is that to benchmark green properties development, and also to set out vision of sustainability within the built environment. Okay, so those are the elements that very important. We need that township tools, assessment tools, and these are the criteria that been considered by Green Building Index. Climate, energy, and water. The first criteria. The second criteria is environmental and ecology. Community planning and design. Okay, community planning is not appear in building assessment tools. Okay, but here is very important. The community planning and design, transportation and connectivity, building resources, and business and innovation. Okay, so these are the criteria that being considered in township assessment. Okay, this is greenship in Indonesia. Okay, 5 elements that fall under this category. Oh, maybe 6. Well, here is 6, but maybe be some mistake. I made a mistake here. But here ialah number 1 is appropriate site development. Number 2 is energy efficiency and conservation, water conservation, material resources and cycle, indoor air health and comfort, and the lastly is building environmental management. Okay, it's not here in the picture, in the table here, but number 6 is building environment management and BEM. Okay, points as I explained earlier, you can see that community planning and design among the highest point in the assessment tools. Okay, these are the elements, detailed assessment of criteria. You can go to the website of GBI website and see the details of the assessment. Okay. The examples of assessment criteria for township, okay, is in the website. Okay. Okay. So among the certified townships, as I mentioned here, is the latest one is Gamuda Gardens. Okay, so Gamuda Garden received a silver award from GBI. Okay, Leisure Farm, Tun Raza Exchange, and so on. A few more, actually a few more. If you go to the website, you can see a lot of certified township in Malaysia. This example, the example of Sunway City, Sunway Resort City, how they get the silver award for green building. Green township building. Okay. Okay, 30% of development is green. If you see the layout or the development of Sunway, you can see about 30% of development is green. According to standard of planning, 10% is enough for the green of the area. But in Sunway, they provide about 30% development is green. So it covers 6 elements of assessment: climate, environment, community, transportation, building, business and innovation. Okay. Example of Sunway Resort City. From the picture we can see 30% of the area is green, isn't it? Okay. The elements that been put forward by Sunway Resort in order to get a green township. And for your information, Sunway Resort is the first Malaysian green township in Malaysia. Leisure Farm, for example, of Leisure Farm, certified, only got only certified. Leisure Farm, Toraja Exchange, Platinum Award. And the qualifications of a GBI award. If you achieve 86 points and above, you'll get platinum. And if you get 50 to 65 points, you'll get a certified award. Okay. Okay. I would like to show you about 3 minutes video on S11 house among the established green building in Malaysia. But this is not the township, but it's a building. Just about 3 minutes. So I hope you'll play the video. Okay, I think I better stop now. I've got a message from the organizer. Thank you so much for listening, and I will appreciate it so much for giving this opportunity for the sharing session. And I appreciate also from our friend over there in Indonesia. Thank you so much. Okay, bye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. That's all.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Zainal, for the informative and wonderful talk. Now we come to the last, but of course not the least speaker for today's webinar talks. Ibu Aphrodita MIGT will be presenting the topic entitled Health Architecture and Planner Responsive to the Pandemic. She is a head of architecture study program at MISA since 2019. Ibu Aphrodita obtained Master of Architecture program from Universitas Gajah Mada Indonesia. She has been serving the architecture program at UNISA since 2016. Prior to that, she gained industrial experience from architecture firm of Infinity Living Indonesia. Well, that a quick biblio about Ibu Aphrodita. Now the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hisham. Can you hear clearly my voice?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I will present now. Is it present on screen? Is it our presentations on screen? Okay, thank you. Okay, I will start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. What a wonderful presentation from all speakers before me. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to say thank you to joining these discussions. And it is an honor to me to meet all of you. And honestly, I wish we meet in offline forum, but the pandemic make us have to be patient and meet virtually. Okay, before we start the discussions, I would like to express our sincere gratitude and thank you to Professor Surveyor Dr. Yusuf Hamid as Rector of UiTM Perak, Malaysia, and Ibu Warsiti as Rector of Unisa Yogyakarta, Indonesia, and all invited speakers, lecturers, and our beloved students of Unisa Yogyakarta, Indonesia, and UiTM Perak. I would like to say thank you to Department of Town and Regional Planning UiTM Malaysia, who organized this webinar series very well prepared. Okay. Before we begin, let me introduce myself. I'm Aphrodita Emma from Architecture Study Program Unisa Yogyakarta. You can read my CV summary on the screen, and I will deliver material with two languages, in Indonesia and English. And in this opportunity, I would like to share and invite you to discuss about our challenge, our response that relate to pandemic COVID-19, architects and urban planners, both of Indonesia and Malaysia. So first, let's discuss who's an architect and who's a planner. We realize that both of architects and urban planners work in the same scope. Sometimes we work in team too. We design and prepare space from concept until design to accommodate the human activities. Our West Java governor, he is an architect, Ridwan Kamil, with the concentration of urban planning too, said, by designing urban space, housing, and good environment, we can increase the quality of life and people's happiness. This is shown by the arrangement of the Bandung city by adding more city park, improving and arranging the elements and infrastructures the city in 2017. The government survey in 2018 shows that the happiness index of Bandung has increased. And for me, this is enough to summarize that urban planners and architects has a big responsibility for humans' lives. Architects and urban planners are important to thinking and designing housing, public facilities, city, regions that are comfortable, healthy, wise, and suitable for the environment and humans. In the architecture, we know about the Vitruvius theory. The Vitruvius is an architect from the Roman era who made architect into three integral parts. They are firmity, venustas, and utilities. Firmity they describe as structure of building, utility described as functions and building support, and venustas as aesthetic of the building. Before the pandemic, we designed of the basis of this theory. Of course, also support by other architectural and design factors as like social, cultural, and economic factors. But now, we design everything. Architecture and urban plan also needs to pay attention to health and new habits that we daily apply. In Indonesia, we call it with new normal. How we buildings, the buildings and environment can support the human activities, which support the health protocol. Now, how we read the challenge. Challenge to future architecture, future city, future regions after the pandemic is over. Okay, next. Since we know the pandemic COVID-19 spread in the world, we are gradually moving to comfort to health protocols in our daily lives. In Indonesia, we are mapped in 3 phases. Firstly, we were in early phases in 2020. All public facilities are closed. We are on lockdown, large-scale isolations, self-quarantine for almost 4 months. At the beginning of pandemic COVID-19, we quickly adapt to health protocol. Adaptation is supported by facilities that are simply designed, hygienic, accessible, easy to use, suitable to disinfect ourselves. Before the pandemic, we go to school, office, and the other activities in public facilities area. But at the start pandemic, all switched to intangible space. We are familiar with digital platforms, online class, online meeting, and webinar, and the others, all remotely controlled from our homes. Then I felt the private and the space looks unclear at the time. There's a virtual space between the spaces. At the time, we were faced through situations. First, we enjoy our time efficiency. We cut off the time for our routines, such as work or school preparations in the morning, going to and from work. We go to virtual as soon as we can do. We need long preparations to go to school or work. But the other side, we were faced with time management. We can productive, but we can also become not productive if we don't have good time management. In Indonesia, people spend their self-quarantine with hobbies, activities such as gardening, cycling, Prof. Halmi and Bapak Haslan cycling, right? Cooking and photography, gymnastics, morning walks, and online shopping. In the end, all our activities while quarantining need the space. There are 2 choices. We will design a facilities with everything new, or we redesign the existing. The second passage in Indonesia is path of a transitions. People began to feel bored, and these conditions give rise the phenomenon of public space. Spatial issues began when people began to use public facilities. We are very aware of the obligations of health protocol, but we conscious to take care of ourselves too. But we need two real social interactions, right? So us, the architects and urban planners, I think needs to prepare, think, designs the public facilities or open space that responds the health protocols and social distancing. So far, it's been a lot of interesting ideas from the peoples who responds the existing and social distancing in the public space. As we can see on the screen, they're using familiar items like tires and dice. People fill up their activities in second pass with the new daily routines. With awareness of health, people begin to discipline to exercise, such as urban cycling and walking 1 million steps per day as a movement. This phenomenon leads the owner of public space and us as a designer to facilitate this movement. What we need to look as a designers. We design effective, efficiently, and functionals. We should be to review and respond the design of facilities that support healthy living habits now. We start about not only function as a bicycle stop or sidewalk, but also think about the aesthetic, dimensions, locations, and safety, which is integrated with public space such as coffee shops, grocery stores, and the others. At the third phase, we move to new normal. In Indonesia, we call it the new normal. People are starting to return back to their normal activities, but still with strict health protocols. At this phase, we began to planning the space in the macro space, that is the public space. How we manage the crowd in the public space, how we manage the crowd in public facilities, in the stations, airport, market, park. We are not only dealing with the space and spatial elements, but also we're dealing with human behavior. We can see at the screens, people are dealing with the signs. Give the space with the cross signs, and the others, they are grouping the user. Who's healthy, who's sick, who has a swab test, who has not. Make a group, then get the facilities and space. Or the market, user and buyers have own space, a simple self-quarantine. This is on Surabaya, Indonesia. We can see wherever we go, we keep thinking about clean and health. So let's respond to the protocols. From the start of pandemic until now, once again, we keep thinking about clearly and healthy. What we do? Wash our hands, right? Hand washing, sink are available everywhere. Simple step from us, I think, both architects and planners, so we can design with long-term considerations. Where should put these facilities? How do we reduce the negative effect of the facilities such as soap waste? How to efficiently the waters? How to design the touchless and hand washing? We not only design based on Vitruvius theory and social cultural factors. We also think about disciplines, how to design and healthy architectures. I'm trying to describe that the healthy architecture into a few parameters. Firstly, circulation and distancing. The two parts can be separate, and I'll explain after this. Secondly, we discuss how to design architecture and environment that has good ventilations, air circulations, and lighting. We design with more attention to environmental factors, use a natural process and well implemented in the building. In the past, the circulation was designed to be close inside the buildings, like in the right lift presentations, but the futures, we can design the circulation to be more open and connect with the environment. It makes it easier for us to get the good air circulation and not harm it, lembab, yeah. Get good sunlight to make it easier for us to get vitamin D, and of course to achieve good and healthy space quality. Before the pandemic, we recognized for zoning, private, semi-public, public, and semi-private. But after the pandemic, we met a more detailed space. That's the private and the semi-private space in public space, right? This picture I take from archdaily.com. In the lift, before the pandemic, we can see the layout of the room at school or office. Previously, the distance among the table are circulations around 18 until 1 meters. But now we take the minimum distance among the table of around 1.2 meters, and one table is only used by one person. We can see the classroom in the semi-public space. Now there's a space within the semi-public space, which is a private space per individual that can only access by one student. We design the public space by minimalizing the crowding, design the space that accommodates social interactions, with provide the personal space in the public space. It will be support the prevention of the pandemic. I want to discuss, let's review our local wisdom that we have. Firstly, in Indonesia, on Java Islands such as Yogyakarta, Surakarta, Central Java, in the past, every mosque was surrounded by a pool. This means then after we get a wudu, we wash our feet again before entering the mosque, so that we are really clean during worship sebelum kita sholat. This concept also has meaning in addition to accommodation to function to purify ourselves. It also means that Islam teach us to love cleanliness and detail in the act of maintaining our health. Secondly, the photo in the middle is Joglo House. Joglo is a traditional house in Yogyakarta and Central Java. Joglo has a spatial layout that's very concerned about the public space and private space. Public space are located in front of house, designed to be very open and close with the nature. This concept also has a philosophy that the Yogyakarta and Java peoples are friendly and respect the environment. And the private space is used as a family rest area located at the rear of the sites. This is not accessible from the public. The last, I think in Indonesia and Malaysia, we have rumah panggung. Rumah panggung is designed with a prioritize on safety, cleanliness, and concern to public space and private space. We reviewed together in the past, the people have carefully designed public and private space, concerned to cleanliness, healthy, and safety. I think we also can reapply our local wisdom. Of course, we need to refine and manage with the technology. Before I close the presentation, I would like to share our student project design that respond to the pandemic and the public space need. This project won the best 3 categories at Indes UiTM 2020. Nadova Stations win the best of the best award, best in DEM, green and sustainability, and best in category innovations. Okay, moderator, can you help me to present their virtual presentations?
Yeah, we will present later.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ibu Eprodita Yeti, for your excellent presentation. Now that we are almost at the end of the today session, it's time for Q&A. Due to the time constraint, I've been given the liberty to pick up only 2 best questions for each presenter. Okay, the first question comes from Kasanah Rikri Fauzia. The question is, saya ingin bertanya untuk Profesor Helmi, bagaimana posisi aspek teknologi terhadap 3 pilar utama sustainable development?
Okey, terima kasih adik yang bertanya tu tadi daripada Unisa ya. Okey. 3 pilar utama itu ialah yang pertama ekonomi, yang kedua sosial, yang ketiga environment. Okey. So apabila kita ingin mereka bentuk bangunan, kena ada di dalam sanubari dan juga di dalam kepala kita, ketiga-tiga elemen ini perlu ada di situ. Bukan hanya aspek ekonomi untuk mendapat keuntungan, tetapi bangunan kita bangunkan ini adakah memberi kesan? Adakah memberi kesan kepada penduduk di sekitarnya dalam jangka masa yang lama? Sebab setiap bangunan yang kita bangunkan itu akan berumur di antara 50 hingga 100 tahun. Jadi kesan-kesan itu perlu dilihat semula. Bukan hanya di segi estetik cantik semata-mata, tetapi perimbangan di antara ekonomi, alam sekitar dan juga aspek-aspek itu tadi perlu ada. So itu yang dimasukkan dengan sustainability. Saya rasa itu saja Dr. Hisham, secara ringkasnya.
The second question direct Madya Ahmad alias. The question is, dengan bermunculan beragam sosial media dan informasi digital, ini masih berperanan sebagai utama dari development Malaysia.
Okey, terima kasih kepada yang bertanya. Saya rasa dengan media sosial yang lebih menjurus kepada golongan remaja sekarang ni, TV mungkin telah hilang pengaruhnya. Tapi saya rasa semasa survey itu dilaksanakan, gelombang media sosial di kalangan pelajar masih belum kuat, dan waktu pelajar pun masih belum mempunyai handphone tersendiri. Saya 2 tahun lepas pun kalangan pelajar yang punya telefon yang pintar pun agak berkurangan berbanding dengan hari ini. Jadi betul saya dengan pendapat dari universiti bahawa pengaruh di media sosial gelombangnya lebih kuat daripada TV. Ya, mungkin TV ini mungkin golongan-golongan warga emas seperti saya dan rakan-rakan. Tapi itulah saya rasa betul media sosial yang peranan lebih kuat di masa ini. Itulah problemnya. Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chancellor, answering the question. Now, the second question to Prof. Helmi. In Green Touch Malaysia, there are aspects of needing assessment and innovation. What are the criteria or indicators that need to be included?
Okay, terima kasih ya. Itu thank you so much Hendy Kunadi for your question. There are few elements that be considered in the innovation assessment for the green buildings. So a lot of the element, for example, if you can invented some things that contribute to the sustainability, that is considered as your contribution to that criteria in innovation. So anything that come out from your original idea, your innovation, that's been considered under innovation. Yeah? So in building assessment, there are so many elements that be considered in 6 areas. So you must do something that different from the area. For example, for innovation, maybe you can try to improve the water fitting, for example. How to make the usable water fitting not a waste. Water, it doesn't waste the water by by proper water filter. So that's your innovation. How to reduce the glaring for the building, for example, and that is considered as your innovation. So whatever you do, there must be some study of that, and you must show your proof in scientific reasons, how to reduce that shade and so on. So they must, so you will get the point for that. Okay, Handy. If you need further question, just email me. I give my email over there in the chat box. Maybe you can email me. Maybe I can give you some references after this. It's okay, no problem. Okay, Dr. Syam.
Okay. Kita juga nak mengalu-alukan Bu Hapsari, Dean Masa yang join kita untuk pagi ini. Thank you, Bu Hapsari. Okay, summarize the keynote address. It's clear that the proposition put forward by all the speakers is understanding the principle, which indicates the level of the development, or in the planning term, the threshold is the key to really sustainability, regardless of whether we are planning or academic. Before we end the program, let's watch the video of the student who is recognize national education, invention, and design of education in 2020. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
COVID-19 pandemic make the world have to apply health protocol in new normal. So it can help prevent that COVID-19 spread. But this problem have side effects to the nature of the world, that is clean water crisis.
Due to the increase in COVID-19 cases, which are increasing every day due to the opening of public spaces, the government has provided hand washing stations. However, a new problem arose, namely the clean water crisis due to excessive water use. Nadufa could be a solution to the clean water crisis that occurred due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Here are the purpose and benefits of Nadufa. Nadufa is able to filter water used by washing hands, to be reused, so that it can save water usage. Differentiation Nadufa with other sinks, which is working system, will filter water continuously on the spot, so we don't need additional water to wash our hands. The biological treatment system is using plant, with the name is water hyacinth. Filtration step of Nadufa station. Circulation system of Nadufa station. Physicalist and chemical filtration. Chemical wastewater treatment is carried out to remove particles that do not easily settle, colloids. Biological filtration by water hyacinth. Filtration result. The filtered water is ready to be used again by pumping it into the water reservoir for redistribution. Nadufa station has ergonomic design. In order to prevent the transmission of COVID-19, Nadufa station uses a trampoline system to minimize touch on the sink. The design of the footing is also adjusted to user comfort. Nadufa can be placed anywhere, especially in crowded places as a hand-washing facility, which is part of the health protocol. Conclusion and result of innovation. Nadufa's design has answered the existing problems and needs regarding the current water supply conditions and human water needs. Nadufa is one of the innovations in efficient waste recycling, particularly grey water.
Deepest appreciation to all the speaker and the audience who joined this webinar program. To our audience, we will meet again for our next webinar program. Until then, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.